5 weeks left. That's it. After this,
that's it.
that's crazy. Now it's going to be interesting to see if we make it through the 5 weeks, because this is the first week we have to deal with COVID complications.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on all of a sudden?
A lot of teams are being affected all of a sudden.
Yeah, weird. Really, really weird. I don't know. Has it altered your picks at all? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I already had one that Denver development. I already had that pick already, and that didn't change anything. So I don't think it really has changed the picks. Any of my picks.
Well, it's going to be interesting. We're going to start with your team.
Yeah.
Right down the street in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, the Jets are definitely playing a lot more competitive, and they'll have Darnold this week. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I mean, I'm still going to go with the Dolphins. I know they did badly last week, but against the Jets, I'm going to pick the Dolphins. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets somehow pull a win on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Jets, you feel like they're going to win one of these, right?
Yeah, that's what you're waiting for. Yeah,
but I didn't feel that way until just last week, because they weren't really competitive
before
until they took the Chargers to the wire, and that was in LA. So they flew out to the West Coast, almost stole one. Now they're home. But if Miami wants to be a playoff team,
this is it. Yep.
If Miami wants to be a competitive team, they have to win. So I'm also going with Miami on that one. Next up, this is an interesting game.
Yeah, especially since I think. Oh, speaking of so Fitzgerald, I think is out with COVID, or
yes,
COVID. I don't know if he has COVID, but is on a list.
Yes.
And I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows if Kyler is going to be 100%. He still has that shoulder injury. I don't know if he's fully recovered from that, and that's going to affect his gameplay, like in terms of running, which is one of the big ingredients he adds to this offense. Not just his passing, but his running. You saw that after that injury in that game last week, he just kind of took that whole aspect of his game out. So I'm really interested to see if he's going to be like back to his old self. And I'm still going to go with Arizona, but I'm a little bit leery about it because of that.
Yeah, these are the games where Bill Belichick, comes up with one, like he did a few weeks ago against Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
These are scary games. I completely agree with you on a lot of that. Boy, this is tough because Murray's dinged up, and Cam Newton. Yeah. And it is about 10 a.m. to their bodies too.
That's the other thing too. They're coming across. Yep.
I'm going to take the Patriots at home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I mean, Arizona is clearly on paper the better team, but some of the factors surrounding this game with Kyler Murray and the travel and being an early game, that's interesting. I'm gonna lean on the side of the Belichicks.
Yeah, the term on paper doesn't really apply to a lot of the NFL. So
no, it does not.
This is another one that I think as of now I'm still trying to decide on this one.
Well, another Adam Thielen's out for COVID.
Yeah, yep.
He had a huge game against Dallas. He crushed him.
Yep. This is one of the ones that I was like looking at, and I'm like, I kept going back and forth where my football mind, such as it is, wanted Minnesota because of the home thing, but it's one of those things I'm going to go against and just go with Carolina.
Yeah. I'm going to take the home team. I think Minnesota stumbled last week with Dallas. I think they're going to try to correct that and try to hang in the playoff picture best they can this week. They are home. Carolina, I think, is Bridgewater playing? I think he's playing, isn't he?
That's what they said. I mean, who knows? By the time they definitely said that he's playing.
Okay. So,
and even McCaffrey was practicing, limited practice. So I really don't think he's going to play. I think they're going to give him this, and then they have a bye week next week and really come back strong. So I really don't think he's playing, even though he's practicing.
Yeah, I'll stick with my pick. I'm going to go with the home team with Minnesota at home. So, we'll see what happens there. This one's an easy one.
Yeah.
At least you don't think so.
I mean, you would think it is an easy one, but and with that, the Browns are just barely getting by some of their games, as we said. But I can't go against them. I can't pick Jacksonville at this point.
Yeah,
I think they're going with their fourth quarter. I think they got another quarterback playing now this week.
The Jags.
Yeah, I believe so. Who the heck is it?
They're in trouble without Minshew. They don't have anything going on.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's not Minshew, so I'm going to go with the Browns.
Right. Yeah, I'm going with the Browns too. I think they're actually on a little bit of a roll right now. So I don't see them losing to Jacksonville. Although,
you never know.
No, they're not losing to Jacksonville. I think it's going to come down to Jacksonville and the Jets at the end for that number 1 pick overall. So, yeah. This is a really 2 weeks in a row. Tennessee might have the game of the week.
Oh boy, another one that was like really tough for me, especially after seeing Tennessee like being so resilient last week. Jeez, actually, both of them, they were both kind of played similar games. They had to come back. I know. I'm going to go with the Colts here. They're at home, right? Not that means a lot, but
I know.
I still think, unlike Baltimore, that they will take advantage of that weak Titan defense. So I'm going to go with it, and I think their defense can hold off the Titans offense pretty well. So I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm also going with the Colts at home. I think their defense for being one, and I just think one of these two teams has to stake claim to this division.
Yeah.
And I just think the Colts are just a little bit better overall and on paper. Yeah. So, I got to go with the Colts at home on that one. What do we got next up here? We got the Gins.
Oh, well.
The Gins against the Joe Burrow list.
Yeah, we pretty much covered that. The one positive thing that was going with Cincinnati was Joe Burrow, who's now out for the season. So just based on I could also say that the Giants have been playing a lot better and been very competitive, and they're coming off a bye week. So definitely going with the Giants here.
I think the Giants they're my pick to win the division.
I agree.
As good as Washington has looked in the last 10 days, I think the Giants in that division are the most balanced of the four. And they look to have finally figured out how to play offense without Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I think it took a good month to figure out. And now they got it down. Their defense is solid. They're well coached. I'm going to take the Giants on the road. I think Cincinnati's going to lose the rest of the way. I don't see them hanging in there much longer. The Lightning Bolts at the Buffalo.
This is another interesting game, despite the records, because how good the Chargers have been doing on offense. But they're going to Buffalo. Buffalo is a good team, both offense and pretty good defense. And I think Buffalo will win this, but it's going to be close. And I wouldn't be shocked if they lost because of how good Herbert's doing.
Wow. Okay. I've got the Bills at home. I think Josh Allen's going to have one of those crazy games where he puts up all kinds of numbers because the Chargers defense is basically non-existent.
Right.
I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Herbert's going to put up some crazy ass numbers too. But when it comes down to it, I think the Bills hold the fort at home.
Right. I did say the Bills, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. For a second there, the way you react, I was like, oh, like I picked the Chargers or something. I was like, oh.
No. I think we're basically on the same page.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make my point about how the game's going to play out. So.
Oh, I
so you can laugh at me next week when you say that's not what happened at all.
No, I think this will be a great game.
Yeah, I do too. This one won't.
Probably not. I mean, the way the Raiders are playing, I mean, their offense is going to score like over more than 30 points against this Falcons defense, and their defense is good enough to stop them. So it's just Raiders, especially, they were so close. They match up to Kansas City. So I don't know any other team. Of course, Kansas City hasn't played the Steelers this year, but up to this point, I don't know any other team right now that can match up to the Chiefs as well as they do.
Ironically, the Chargers back in week 2 or 3 did.
That's
they
true.
Hung in there and they looked really good. And I thought
that's true.
The Chargers haven't looked that good on defense since that game.
Yeah.
In fact, I ran out and got their defense for my fantasy league right after that game, and then quickly dumped them. But you're right. I mean, as far as getting in the ring toe to toe, the Raiders definitely have the. Sometimes it's just matchups. The Raiders don't match up well against. It's you kind of build your team for the team in the division that you're chasing and whatnot. So that said, Raiders on the road, it could get iffy. The Falcons are capable of putting up points too, but I think Chucky's got the playoffs. He's got the what do you call it? The targeting system. It's locked in on the playoffs. He's not going to lose. So I'm going Vegas myself. I think that's it for the 1 o'clock. It is for the 1 o'clock games. And now we have one that would have been awesome if circumstances were different. The homeless 49ers. They're not in San Francisco anymore. They're
somewhere. Who knows where they are?
Where are they? They're nomads. The nomad 49ers visiting LA this week.
Yeah. I mean,
they got to go find somewhere to practice and play. Unbelievable.
It's crazy. And we just recently talked about how we're putting a fork in San Francisco for not making the playoffs because they just been a devastating year for them in terms of injuries. So and the Rams are doing, they're like hitting their stride now.
The Rams,
Tampa Bay. I mean, I have to go with the Rams here.
Same. Rams at home. They look really, really solid, really, really balanced. Like I said on the last show, I don't trust Goff in a big spot, but this is not a big spot yet. So I will take the Rams at home all day long on that one. Now we come to the craziest game on our schedule this week. It's the craziest. It didn't start out the craziest yesterday, but today it's the craziest.
Oh, yes.
The Saints going up to the Mile High to play against wide receiver Kendall Hinton at quarterback for the Broncos because they have no quarterbacks. And I don't understand why the league won't push this game.
Yeah, four quarterbacks on the roster, and all 4 of them are on the COVID list. Not that they have COVID, but just through contacts, suspected. And it's like they're forcing him to play without a quarterback, basically.
Right, which doesn't make much sense at all because the Ravens on Thanksgiving had 2 running backs in Lamar Jackson with COVID, amongst others. But those were the key position players, and they decided to push the game.
Yeah, and they still have their backup to play. They have a backup quarterback that could have played.
Right. So, they have RG3. So I don't understand why this game is not being pushed. I mean, you're gonna. What if Kendall Hinton gets hurt? Now who's gonna play? Is John Elway gonna come down out of the skybox and at 65 years old and play? Like what are they doing? This is crazy.
I think they identified so Kendall is what, a receiver or a running? Oh,
he's a wide receiver. He played quarterback at Wake Forest.
I think they identified a running back as well as that. Is there
emergency quarterback?
An emergency, because that wide receiver is not even their emergency quarterback. This other guy running, I don't know, I forgot his name, but it's an emergency. So they're technically he's kind of the backup, but it's a crazy thing.
I don't get it. I mean, I think we're at the point with what's coming out this week that they need a week 18. It's as simple as that. Just do it. Just tag it on. Nobody's going to care if the Super Bowl gets pushed a week or two. No, in fact, we'd embrace it because February sucks. Give us something cool to watch in February. Just push the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I'd love to see playoffs.
Making a team play with no quarterback is insane. That's just dumb.
And it affects the league. I mean, you got all these, you got Green Bay and Tampa Bay and the NFC, and you're basically, I think, giving the Saints a free game here.
Yeah.
And it does affect. I mean, it affects the number one seed here and in the divisions, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. And it's clear. It looks to me like they moved the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game because it would get higher TV ratings. It was a primetime game that would have been very lopsided had it been played, much like this one is going to be. But they don't care at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. In a team like Denver that doesn't, they're not qualifying for anything in the postseason. So shame on you, NFL. I think it's just a bad freaking move. It's a bad look. Sends the wrong message all the way around.
It sure does. Hypocritical.
It is. Hopefully there's no COVID complications with this one, because this one's going to be fun to watch.
Let's hope this is a really good game. I think it will be.
What are your thoughts on this? This is interesting.
I mean, Tampa Bay has been kind of like on this roller coaster thing where they lose badly and then they come back with a big win. And I mean, they didn't lose badly last week, but
they looked bad losing.
They didn't. The score doesn't show badly,
but they look bad losing.
Good. That's the real perfect way to put it. So you wonder whether they're gonna come back and play a really good game, and they could still do that and still not win, because this is Kansas City, who's 9-1 and looks unstoppable most weeks. It's a really interesting game. I'm gonna go with Kansas City, because of Tampa Bay's inconsistencies. It would not shock me at all if Tampa Bay pulled this off, but I have to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, my thoughts on this are pretty much the same. This could go either way, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Much like it's going to go the way the Rams game, I think. It's going to be very similar, but I just think the way that Tampa Bay offense is so mistake prone all of a sudden. I mean, the turnovers. I've never seen Tom Brady look, I don't want to say confused or lost, but against the Saints he did. And last week late in the game, he kind of had that same look. His body language is bad on the sidelines, and I don't think that the offense, he doesn't fit that offensive plan very well at all, despite all the weapons he has.
Yeah.
There's something really wrong there. I just think the Chiefs are going to be too much for him. I want Tampa Bay to win to do the Steelers a favor and
right.
Ding the Chiefs again. I mean, because let's face it, the Chiefs have the Saints next, I think, and then they have a pretty easy way the rest of the way. So, but I can't see Kansas City losing. Tampa Bay does not look good. It's not prime time, and I saw that Brady's like 0-4 in prime time this year. But it is a national game of the week.
It feels like prime time, but
it does. Yeah. Well, especially when it gets dark at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to go with the Chiefs too. There's something wrong in Tampa, and I just don't like the vibe coming out of there. Where am I looking? Where am I looking for this last one? Here we go. The 8 o'clock game.
Wow. They should swap this game out for the Chiefs in Tampa.
Yeah, they can flex now, can't they? They should.
They really should. I mean, it's a division game, and under normal circumstances, it's like a really interesting game. But it's like we've talked ad nauseum how the Chicago offense is non-existent. Their defense is good though, and I think they'll do enough to maybe not make a blowout, at least not a blowout in the first half. But maybe they'll hold back the Riders for a while and make it a close game. But I can't see Chicago winning when they can't put up points.
No, I'm with you. We put a fork in them in our recap show for Week 11. The Niners are going to put the legitimate fork in them this week. They will be below 500 after starting 5-1. They're walking up 5-6. I think you're right. I think in the second half they're just going to get blown out. Their defense is going to be on the field too long, and those Packer offensive weapons are going to run wild in the second half. So Green Bay all day at home. And then last, we have the Monday nighter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Eagles, huh?
Yeah.
I keep
Hanging on by half game. And no, they're not, because Washington has 4 wins now.
Yeah, they're back a half game now.
Right.
I mean, I wonder how many people are still left that are still thinking that the Eagles are going to kind of hit the switch and become like that Eagles team that will have a run towards the end. I mean, how much longer are you going to hang on? I can't pick them against Seattle, who's like contending for a division and obviously playoffs when the Eagles have looked so bad, especially once with all the turnovers, and their defense isn't good enough to overcome that. Plus, Seattle's defense has now come along, playing much better recently. So definitely Seattle.
Yeah, they got Jalen Adams and Carlos Dunlap in there, and they're starting to ball out on the defensive side. If Russell Wilson can avoid one of those weird, like when he makes mistakes, he just compounds them all in one game. You know, like he's brilliant. Let's face it, but he's had 2 games this year where he just like threw 3 picks, which is weird. And otherwise, he's pretty much unblemished for the rest of it. But they're too much for Philadelphia. Philadelphia is done. If there was a team in the NFC East besides Dallas, I'd put a fork in. It would be this one.
I'd put both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas and the Eagles. I tempted to put a fork into both of them.
Yeah.
But like you said, because they're all kind of a half game out of first place, or you got to keep them in there.
Never know.
But Carson Wentz is a turnover machine. They're just not a good football team, and I think they're gonna get beat by Seattle. So that's it. Those are my picks. Those are your picks. And this COVID thing is just nuts. It's just nuts. I mean, just looking at I keep dropping in on it in Twitter, and it's just like, my God, there's just more and more.
Seems like every time you go back, like it's affecting more and more teams.
Yeah. So, they might. I don't know. I mean, maybe the league should just do 1 week by league wide. Right. Just move the whole season.
Do that 18th week. I mean, it's certainly they have that in place, and it looks like that's what they should be doing at this point.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I mean, forgive my ignorance, but they're like reluctant to move the Super Bowl because of all the TV money I get and all that stuff. But is it really? I don't think it's going to affect the network much at all, if at all, to just push it a week, or push it 2 or 3, whatever it takes to get the season done. Do it.
Yeah, at this point, how does that affect them in terms of money? Is it because of
it's not like they have massive ticket sales and people with hotel rooms and non-refundable flights, and they're only a handful of people in there anyway this year.
Right.
So I don't get it. Just push it. Make it work. Don't make the Denver Broncos play with a wide receiver at quarterback. That's insane.
It is insane. I can't believe they're going through with it. I mean, they haven't gone through with it yet, but let's see what happens.
It'll be a riot if somehow they win.
That would be then the game of the week, just to see that guy play quarterback.
It's doable. Taysom Hill's, who knows what he is really.
And it's in Denver, right? So
it's in Denver. You never know.
But Peyton is way too smart.
Peyton's
like he'll see that
wide receiver. If he loses to a wide receiver playing quarterback,
at this point he'll say, you know what, forget this. We're just gonna run the ball. We're not gonna even take one chance on one pass. We're just gonna run the ball, and then our defense is just gonna do all the scoring, basically. That's all.
If you're Denver, you hope for a blizzard.
Well,
where both teams can only run the ball, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's even up, and that's
even up. Yeah.
Right. So.
Wow. Okay.
It's a weird, wild year in the National Football League. That's for sure. So.
Yep.
All right. So those are the picks. We're standing by them. I'm only 2 games behind you now.
And you could be tied after this.
Right. Let's do a quick refresher on our season totals. I am 32-20, and I'm chasing your 34-18. So
I'm going downhill fast.
You had a 5-game lead 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And if you're so inclined out there, folks, you can follow us on all the socials at GeekTime.net or visit our website, GeekTimeNetwork.com, where you can complain about anything you want. We can take it. We're big boys.
Hey, if there's anybody out there that wants to compete against us, we'd love to hear
That
your
would be
picks.
good. Send in your picks. Yeah, for the last 5 weeks, we should do that. We'll take on the fans for the last 5 weeks.
You can mention anybody that's beaten, that mention their names if they beat us.
Fans. I shouldn't have said fans. Audience.
Audience,
viewers. We'll take you on. That's a good idea. You're full of ideas.
Let's hope.
We'll bring back John Madden for that.
Yeah. He's great.
All right. Let's get out of here.
If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to be notified anytime someone from our show drops new content here. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?